And of course, our creamy mozzarella string cheese. Next time you really want a cheese snack, make sure it's real cheese. Sargento. Taste the real difference.
Great first gig. Let's go. Hey. Yep. Party!
Aww.
We are out of here. Party!
Finding you the perfect place every step of the way. Hotels.com.
Good morning to you. It is Sunday. It's March 31st. I'm Ainsley Earhart filling in for Allison this morning. Big business and big labor get together on immigration reform. But as many celebrate the compromise, Senator Marco Rubio says not so fast. Why his focus is more on the border itself.
Then he stepped into the spotlight at the National Prayer Breakfast by talking about limited government and the power of faith. This morning, Dr. Ben Carson joins us live with his Easter message.
And it's Easter Sunday, time to take pictures of your family pet. Keep them coming in this morning because we're showing them live throughout the show. And you know, you can dress up your kids too. We'll show those. Email us at friends@foxnews.com. Fox and Friends Hour 4 starts right now.
Mama said, now take this yellow.
Yes, I did say fourth hour.
Fourth
I know
hour.
you're used to 1 hour.
Hours.
Fox and Friends first. Yes, welcome in on this Easter Sunday. We are so thankful that you're celebrating Easter this morning with us. As the kids are waking up, we want to thank 1-800-Flowers for decking out our studio here and making it smell so nice.
And thanks for the peeps, too. I'm still on a peep sugar high. Just slap me if I get out of hand.
You ever seen this many peeps?
I think you ate a whole row of peeps,
Wow.
didn't you? Yeah, no, you know what? Now that I look at it again,
Look at that poor peep. Hold on.
I think Jesse just ate the ears off of all of the tall peeps.
I know you're scared if you like grab one,
No,
the whole thing's going to
No,
fall.
the ears are the best part. Look, I'm going to take the bottom half of the peep.
Mm-hmm. How is that? Is it delicious?
Oh, it's so good.
And now you're no longer hungry,
It is
right?
so good,
that
right?
filled you up.
I'm good to go now.
I'm curious what the eyes are made out of.
Chocolate.
That's chocolate.
Does that occur?
Right?
Yeah. I'm sure that's true.
It's just dye.
We'll figure it out. Enjoy your peeps this morning. Thank you for waking up. We're going to have more pictures. Send them in of your kids dressing up in the outfits and also your animals. We'll show them throughout the show.
Now we have sticky fingers.
Well, first we got to talk about this because
you just launched one into 1-800-Flowers.
Sorry, peeps.
They don't mind. Because this morning is Easter, and 1.2 billion Catholics around the world celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Connor Powell joins us live this morning from Holy Land this Easter Sunday. They have a different take on Easter over there right now. They're not so much worried about the peeps at this hour, right, Connor?
No, not at all. I mean, Easter is obviously a big day here, but it's an area where there's a lot of religions and they all sort of come together right now. But the big news out of Easter and sort of the religious world right now is that Pope Francis used his first Easter as Pope in Rome to call for world peace, specifically praying for peace on the Korean Peninsula, where he's urging both sides for a renewed spirit of reconciliation there. It's estimated that some 250,000 people were on hand in St. Peter's Square today to hear the new Pope speak. Since being elected just 3 weeks ago, Francis has placed a real special emphasis on helping the poor and those in need, breaking with Catholic tradition on Thursday by washing the feet of both men and women during a Holy Thursday service. He also prayed for the suffering in Syria and for those here in the Holy Land. Meanwhile, both Protestants and Catholics celebrated Easter here in Jerusalem with services at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the site where Christians believe Jesus was crucified, buried, and resurrected. And in Iraq, several hundred Christians went to church in Baghdad today, a very big change from the past few years where violence was so high they weren't able to. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Connor.
Thanks.
We'll have more on the violence and the tension in the Korean Peninsula coming up in a short time. Thanks, Connor.
And now for the rest of your headlines. The Navy SEAL killed in Thursday's parachute training accident in Arizona has now been identified. Here is his picture. This was 31-year-old Brett Shadle, a special warfare operator chief and member of the elite Team 6 group. Friends say that he wanted to be a Navy SEAL since the 8th grade.
It's one of those things like it happened and you say it did. Are you sure? Was it really him? Is there a mistake? You know, you're not sure.
Well, the cause of the midair parachute collision, which killed Shadle and severely injured another SEAL, is now under investigation. It's an emotional moment. A father hugs his daughter for the first time since her amazing rescue. The young lady, 23-year-old Mary Owen, she survived 6 days stranded on Mount Hood. The hiker caught in a whiteout and she hurt her ankle. Unable to walk, such cold temperatures, built a snow cave, wrapped herself in a thermal poncho, and the first day she ran out of food.
She said that there were parts where she had wished that she could just die and have it over with, but she came to the conclusion that God wasn't going to let her die, and so she was just toughing it out one day at a time.
A National Guard helicopter eventually spotted her, and then they hoisted her up to safety. She's recovering from frostbite and a fractured ankle. An Easter favorite facing extinction.
Here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail. Hippity hoppin', Easter's on its way.
The future of the New England cottontail species, the one that inspired that song, is now being threatened because of the shrubland that it calls home. It's disappearing. But urban expansion, it's not to blame in this case. It's actually because of a lack of human activity that land has become so overgrown, and now it's forcing the animals out. So we have to save the cottontail, build some homes in that area.
See, I hope my wife's listening so she knows when I want to go out and mow the lawn on a regular basis. I'm saving the cottontail.
You're saving Peter.
You're just not escaping the house, right?
Right.
All right, let's check in with Rick Reichmuth. Is today a first day to get out there and actually do some yard work and enjoy the outside, or are we going to see rain?
You're not doing yard work on Easter. That's not what you want to be doing.
Well, you got to clean up the yard for the Easter egg hunt, don't you?
Well, you should have done that yesterday.
Oh.
Wow.
So
sorry.
You're late if that's what's happening.
He's trying his best, Rick.
Sorry, Clayton's kids. There are going to be some rain showers, though, moving across parts of the east. Temperature-wise, it's good. We've been so cold all spring long, but this weekend hasn't been that bad. Some pretty nice temperatures. Enjoy it, because that all changes tomorrow. Cold air, again, comes right back. But we have some pretty significant showers that are moving across parts of the Carolinas into Virginia. And this, I think, is going to move a little earlier than I thought across parts of the Northeast. So I think this afternoon we'll see some showers move in across parts of Pennsylvania, through New York, and up towards parts of New England by maybe even earlier this evening. Out across the west, we have some showers. This is a big upper-level disturbance that will be a bit of a nuisance across areas of California today. It will migrate across parts of the eastern areas of the country throughout the week. That'll be our weather maker. Today, though, be very careful across the south. This is where our threat for severe weather is. Certainly some hail and some damaging winds. Don't think a big tornado threat, and that's certainly good news. All right, guys, back over to you.
All right, thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
All right, here are two things that go together: peanut butter and chocolate, right? The white stuff inside the Oreo cookie, those go together. Two things that do not go together typically: the Chamber of Commerce and the AFL-CIO. They have been at loggerheads. They never come together.
They hate each other.
But there could be a glimmer of hope this morning, and they may be coming together, and a deal may be in the works on immigration reform, because those two before are the ones that have basically killed off any sort of immigration reform in the United States before. But we may have now an agreement between the two of them on labor and immigration.
Right. Businesses were saying, we want to pay you the minimal amount. And then the unions were saying, we want you to be paid more. And we want you to be paid an average salary versus just paying one guy for his skills and someone else for their skills.
We're talking about immigrant labor.
Immigration,
yeah.
Right, and it looks like big labor is going to get their influx of cheap labor. Excuse me, it looks like the big corporations are going to get their cheap, unskilled workers, and then big labor is going to get all these new union employees. But I think the rest of the American people are getting hosed. And what's happening with Marco Rubio here, they're trying to marginalize him, because all he wants to do is control the border first. Before we get into all this guest worker program, he says control the border. And I don't know if the president really wants to control the border, because if you look at what he's done in the past, he's defunded some of these people that go down there and cut their wages and their hours. He actually stopped the border fence from being constructed. So I don't know right now.
Blaming sequestration.
Right. I don't know if right now that they're really going to get this deal done.
So the immigration letter that Marco Rubio had sent to Patrick Leahy's office on this whole deal, because he was starting to hear that we'll get back to what this deal actually lays out in a second. But here is Marco Rubio on this fence issue, saying before we even get to any deal with labor and the Chamber of Commerce, We need to deal with this. I cannot urge strongly enough that that the discussion of the bill start with meaningful hearings. Of particular importance is a full consideration of border security proposals, including testimony from border security experts, the Secretary of Homeland Security, and others. A key feature of our bipartisan approach has been an insistence on meeting border security and other enforcement triggers before unauthorized immigrants can apply for permanent residence. But it seems like this framework maybe has moved beyond Marco Rubio here, because here is what is in this new plan this morning as we're getting some broad idea of what this framework would be, which is it would bring low-skilled workers to the United States, capped off at $200,000 a year. Workers could earn same wages paid to Americans or higher, and workers would be able to change jobs within 13-year path to citizenship. So they wouldn't be locked into one particular job. They would have the freedom to move around jobs. Again, these would be immigrants trying to gain a path to citizenship.
Right, and we were saying this before. If you're a struggling Mexican and you have no money and you have mouths to feed, you're coming across that border. I would come across the border. I'm sure you guys would. So we don't want to demonize those people, but you can't let people come across the U.S. southern border, especially after 9/11. They don't have IDs. You don't know who they are. Some of them want to work. Some of them want to work, right. But some of them are narco traffickers, let's be honest. They're kidnappers, narco traffickers. They're bringing in people as slave labor. So you can't just let that border go unguarded.
Right.
Well, more on that coming up here on the show. Plus this, the White House firing back at North Korea's threats of war. The State Department saying that while North Korea has a history of talking tough, they take all threats seriously. And Steve Santani has joined us live from Washington this morning with the latest details on these tense developments. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. That's right. The White House taking note of North Korea's recent warlike rhetoric. This coming over the past few days. A spokesperson for the president's National Security Council said in reaction, "We've seen reports of a new and unconstructive statement from North Korea. We take these threats seriously and remain in close contact with our South Korean allies. But we would also note that North Korea has a long history of bellicose rhetoric and threats, and this latest announcement follows that familiar pattern." Well, the saber rattling from Pyongyang comes after the U.S. flew a pair of B-2 stealth bombers over North Korea last week, the first time such a move has taken place during a military exercise, and that it's actually been made public. It triggered a series of statements from the North, including this one Saturday. From this time on, the North-South relations will be entering the state of war, and all issues raised between the North and South will be handled accordingly. Well, North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, is hoping to put a show of strength at home to build his own credibility, and that's part of this. At the same time, he's putting pressure on the West for talks that could lead to financial aid, and that's the other part. Now, last December, he launched yet another missile, and in February triggered a third underground nuclear test. U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel had this comment on the latest provocative language.
I think they're very provocative actions and belligerent tone. It has ratcheted up the danger. And we have to understand that reality.
All this happened during joint U.S.-South Korean military exercises. Back to you.
All right, Steve Santani live for us in Washington this morning. Thank you and happy Easter. Coming up here on the show, we were just telling you about our nation's plan to reform immigration system. Well, how does this sound? We just cut 20% of our Border Patrol force, and we're about to leave the border unmanned for hours at a time. Well, more on that coming up next.
And how did this happen? The IRS knowingly sending illegal immigrants $4.2 billion each year in fraudulent tax refunds.
The tax man, yeah, the tax man. 5% to be too small.
Look what Mommy's having. Mommy's having a French fry. Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Could have had a V8, 100% vegetable juice, with 3 of your daily vegetable servings in every little bottle.
Hey, did you know Honey Nut Cheerios has oats that can help lower cholesterol?
And it tastes good?
Sure does.
Wow.
It's the honey. It makes it taste so... Would you look at the time?
What's the rush?
Be happy, be healthy.
communities, towns, and families devastated. Now, nearly 6 months after Sandy, Shepard Smith is live from the hard-hit Jersey coast, getting answers on the region's recovery, the impact on business, FEMA's response, and what's left to be done. Monday, don't miss our special coverage on Studio B and the Fox Report.
Hello. This is where we do that bundling thing? Let's see what you got. RV, covered. Why would you pay for a hotel?
I never do.
Motorcycles, check. ATV.
I ride those.
Do you?
No.
Boat.
House?
Hello, dear. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, check it.
We're going on break. The more you bundle, the more you save. Now that's Progressive.
I'm on the road for business, and my company set me up at Sleep Inn.
Hey, boss. Thank you so much for this room. You shouldn't have. Hi, me again. This free breakfast? Wow. Ooh, bacon. It's the boss. Sir, this Sleep Inn is amazing. Yep, leaving for work now. All right.
Stay at Sleep Inn or any of these Choice hotels and save up to 20% when you book direct at choicehotels.com.
My patients still don't know what Obamacare means for them. And how could they? There are already 13,000 pages of regulations, and the bureaucrats are just getting started. Obamacare will change your health care, and you need to understand how. There are hidden taxes and fines, big cuts in Medicare, even new regulations on what services doctors can offer you. Some businesses could get hit with a 40% additional tax on your health care plan. Please, get the Obamacare Survival Guide today. It's the best book explaining the new law. It's easy to read, everything you need to know to protect yourself, your family, your business. The Obamacare Survival Guide at bookstores everywhere.
Special internet-only offer right now at Obamacare911.com.
The danger of baby food. We expose the truth and reveal the risks. It's what every parent needs to know. Watch House Call with Drs. Siegel and Samadi today.
Well, it's Easter weekend in our nation's capital, and yesterday President Obama played golf for the first time since the sequester took effect. He then followed that up by attending the NCAA tournament game between Syracuse and Marquette.
Meanwhile, other areas of our government are scaling back. In fact, just this week it was announced that Border Patrol effectively cut 20% of its force, and our next guest says that may jeopardize our nation's security.
Sean Moran is the Vice President of the National Border Patrol Council, and he joins us now. Good morning, Sean. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, we've done stories all morning long. Jesse interviewed someone earlier, $42 billion in wasteful spending. A lot of that money is being used to make robotic squirrels. It's being used to make urine cakes, we were told, whatever those are. And then we did another story, $4.2 billion the IRS knowingly is giving this money, our tax dollars, to illegal immigrants. But yet, they're cutting border security. How do you feel about all this?
Well, we're very concerned about it because there's all this talk about immigration reform and that we're going to secure the border first. But how are we supposed to do that if we're cutting back on the people that are actually securing the border?
You're down at the border, I assume, a lot. Now, what is it like down there? They say it's more secure than it's ever been. What are you hearing? What are you seeing down there?
Well, some sections of the border are safer than they've been in decades, but that doesn't mean that they're by any means secure. Some areas that have been under control, like Imperial Beach, California, are seeing an upsurge in illegal alien traffic. El Centro, California, is reporting more drug smuggling, and areas all along the southwest border are just seeing increased traffic just because of the media attention and the publicity that these cuts are going to get, and even though they haven't been implemented yet.
Sean, for our viewers that haven't been to El Paso, haven't been along the border down in South Texas, what is it like? What do you suggest, if the president were listening this morning, what would you suggest that we need to do to make the border stronger?
We need to start taking the oaths of office that we all took seriously. Neither side of the aisle wants to actually be tough on immigration. Our agents have been so handicapped over the past decade. We can no longer do interior patrol. We can't patrol at transportation hubs. We can't do farm and ranch check. So many different aspects of our job have been restricted. And it seems as if no one actually wants to do this job. They want to look like they're doing this job without actually doing it.
That's unfortunate. It sounds like it's having a really harmful effect on morale at the Border Patrol. Thank you very much, and happy Easter.
And like
You too. Happy Easter. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Like you were saying earlier, it is about safety. It's
Right.
not just about preventing people from coming in illegally and sending money home. It is more of a safety
Right,
issue.
it's a national security issue. All right, next on the rundown, he stepped into the spotlight at the National Prayer Breakfast by talking about limited government and the power of faith. This morning, Dr. Ben Carson joins us live with his Easter message.
Plus, Justin Timberlake's stunning surprise, what the pop star did to shock some unexpected fans.
More than 2 years ago, the people of BP made a commitment to the Gulf, and every day since, we've worked hard to keep it. Today, the beaches and Gulf are open for everyone to enjoy. We've shared what we've learned so we can all produce energy more safely. BP's also committed to America. We support nearly 250,000 jobs and invest more here than anywhere else. We're working to fuel America for generations to come. Our commitment has never been stronger.
We all have one, that perfect spot. A special place we go to smooth out the ripples of the day. It might be off a dock or on a boat, upstream or in the middle of nowhere. Wherever it may be, casting a line in the clear fresh waters of Michigan lets us leave anything weighing us down back on shore. Our perfect spot is calling. Our perfect spot is Pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
It's got performance with efficiency. It's got all you want in a car as alive as you are. Introducing the supercharged V6 and turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that gets 30 miles per gallon highway from Jaguar. At last, you can roar responsibly. Jaguar. Right now, drive something extraordinary at your local Jaguar retailer.
Honey, did you pay the lawn guy?
Now, small businesses don't have to chase down their customers to get paid. With Pay Anywhere, you can accept credit cards on any smartphone or tablet. There's no setup, monthly, or hidden fees. You're charged a low rate only when you process. If you're a small business, don't wait to get paid.
Where's my money?
Pay Anywhere. Get your free reader now.
Gun control, the debate.
If you use catheters, I have some great news. You will never have to reuse catheters again. Medicare and most private insurance now cover up to $200 a month. That means you can use a new sterile catheter every time you cath. And these new catheters, they're softer, they're more gentle, and they're much easier to use. So call Comfort Medical today. They make it simple. They bill Medicare and private insurance directly. There are no upfront costs, and they deliver your supplies right to your door for free.
Call 1-800-985-2554 now, and Comfort Medical will send you free samples of these new gentle catheters. And if you call 1-800-985-2554 today, Comfort Medical will also send you a free Comfort Kit. Call 1-800-985-2554 now. Operators are standing by.
Call Comfort Medical today. You'll be glad you did.
Play here this season on Fox Soccer and Fox Soccer Plus.
And welcome back. 23 minutes now past the hour. Well, Dr. Ben Carson stepped into the limelight when he talked about limited government at the National Prayer Breakfast, you'll remember. Now Dr. Carson is under fire for some comments he made about marriage this week. Here to react to the controversy is pediatric neurosurgeon Dr. Ben Carson. Doc, happy Easter to you. Nice to see you this morning.
Same to you.
Well, I think it is safe to say you got into a bit of a controversy this week following your comments about marriage on the Hannity program. You were set to give a commencement speech at Johns Hopkins University, and a member of the student body, a number of the members of the student body stepped up to say, look, Dr. Ben Carson doesn't represent our viewpoints here. We don't want him to speak at our commencement ceremony. Where does that stand this morning? Will you, and have you gotten support from the other side?
I've gotten a lot of support from the other side, and many students feel very much differently, and many faculty members feel differently too. And what it has hopefully done is help us to open up a dialogue. This is the very thing that I was talking about at the National Prayer Breakfast when I talked about political correctness and how it puts a muzzle over the ability to have open discussions, which is the only way that we can really make progress. So, you know, I don't want to be the focal point of a war on campus, but what I would like to encourage people to do is tone down the rhetoric a little bit, and let's sit down and discuss things like intelligent human beings rather than getting into corners and casting aspersions at people. You know, as far as my comments on gay marriage, I do believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. I'm not going to change that. But the fact that some people misinterpreted what I said when I tried to come up with examples of variations on marriage and relationships, and I don't know of a whole lot of different ones even now, but the fact of the matter is it doesn't mean that they're all equal. It simply means that there's nobody who gets to change the definition of marriage. It's been the same 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago.
Well, the media, Doctor, I don't mean to interrupt you there, but the media seemed to jump down your throat pretty quickly. And I did a cursory Google search this morning to see how many news articles were written about your comments this week as it compared to other news stories this week. You received 23,800 news articles written about your comments on marriage. Compare that to when Jim Carrey did his video piece this week and slammed Charlton Heston. 6,000 pieces were written about Jim Carrey. That's nearly quadruple the number of coverage. Do you think you've gotten a fair shake in the media?
Well, of course we know that there's bias in the media. I don't think there's any person who's living and breathing who doesn't realize that. But, you know, I would rather appeal to the American people and ask them to really start analyzing things for yourself and thinking for yourself. Don't have everything filtered through what somebody else thinks. That's why our founder said we need an educated and well-informed populace, or our nation would turn into something else.
Well, it is Easter Sunday. We would be remiss if we didn't ask you as a man of faith to give us your thoughts on this very special day and what it means to you.
Well, first of all, I would say anybody who knows me and has worked with me, including gay people, know that I treat everybody the same, very nice. And I think your life speaks much more than any words that someone wants to misinterpret. However, you know, Jesus is my role model, and what he did is he preached love, he preached acceptance, but he also was a man of values and principles, and he wound up being crucified for it. But he rose again to advocate godly principles of loving your fellow man, of caring about your neighbor, of developing your God-given talents to the utmost so that you become valuable to the people around you by having values and principles that guide your life. And I would just conclude with the words of 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and forgive their sin and heal their land.
Dr. Ben Carson joining us this morning from Florida on this Easter Sunday. Well said. Can't top that. Thank you so much, Doc.
Thank you.
Coming up here on the show, is it real or fake? New questions as the historic Shroud of Turin goes on display this Easter. And after church today, a lot of families will gather around the table. We're cooking up a traditional Easter dinner that's easy for you to make.
How do you measure happiness? By the armful? By the barrelful? The carful? How about by the bowlful? Campbell's soups give you nutrition, energy, and can help you keep a healthy weight. Campbell's, it's amazing what soup can do.
I've always kept my eye on her, but with so much healthcare noise, I didn't always watch out for myself. With United Healthcare, I get personalized information and rewards for addressing my health risks. But she's still gonna give me a heart attack.
That's health in numbers. United Healthcare.
Morning, Brian. Love your Passat.
Listen, Gary.
Uh-huh.
I bought the last one.
Nice try. Says right here you can get one for $199 a month.
Can't believe the lamestream media, Gary. They're all gone.
Maybe I'll get one.
Now everyone's going to want one.
Can't have the same car as me, Gary.
I'm getting one.
Nope.
Volkswagen Springtoberfest is here, and there's no better time to get a Passat. That's the power of German engineering. Right now, lease one of 4 Volkswagen models for under $200 a month. Visit VWDealer.com today.
Shoot. Now with the Share Everything plan from Verizon, connect your camera along with your smartphone and tablet. All your devices connected by one simple plan on the powerful network.
Record video.
Connect more so you can do more. The Share Everything plan from Verizon. Add additional devices like the Samsung Galaxy camera for $5 monthly access.
Here I am, folks. 32 pounds thinner. Ain't it pretty?
Introducing the Fresh Start sales event.
I was so tired of looking old and fat and ugly that I couldn't take it one more minute. So, you know what I did? I ordered me Nutrisystem.
These are the final days of our Fresh Start sales event. Save 40%.
I was overweight, out of shape, and my health was pitiful. So I decided to lose the weight and get myself healthy. And man, Nutrisystem's success is so easy. Open the box, eat the food, lose the weight. You get 5 fantastic meals a day. All you gotta do is eat them. They taste great and they're good for you.
Hurry, time is running out. Get a fresh start on a new you for as low as $10 a day. For a limited time, you can save 40%.
Call Nutrisystem right now and you'll be looking pretty like me before you know it.
We build things that work the way you wish they would. Like a front-end loader you can detach from your seat. Or a mower deck you just drive over. And cut through knee-deep grass no problem. Yep, we thought the same thing you did. That's why we build them this way. That's how we run. Nothing runs like a deer. Visit your dealer or johndeere.com/howwerun to see the new Signature Series and One Family tractors.
How do you get your bounce?
I just stick the bar in the dryer like this, and it freshens my laundry for me, so I don't have to think. Wait, what was the question?
How do you get your bounce?
Stick it and forget it.
Look what Mommy's having. Mommy's having a French fry. Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Could have had a V8. 100% vegetable juice with 3 of your daily vegetable servings in every little bottle.
Oh! Wow, 5-month-old Crosby's first Easter. Sent in from April in Michigan.
His name's Crosby? I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, little Yorkie. This is Sophie, the Easter pup. Sent in from Kelly. I have 2 Yorkies, Kelly. Love them.
And Devin and Ryan, wishing everyone in New Jersey still recovering from Hurricane Sandy a happy Easter. Adorable. Oh, is this baby
Ainsley? Are you serious?
That was you?
Oh,
spelled a little bit differently.
Look, yeah, look at her
Was
little
just born
Easter
in
basket.
February.
She spells it S-L-E-E-I-D-E-Y.
She watches Fox and Friends every morning, she
Ainsley.
says.
Excellent.
Oh.
Allentown, Pennsylvania. Butch family from Allentown, PA.
That's where Andrea Tantaris is from.
Right, an Easter doggy. Sent in from Rob. Whoa, that is scary.
Why?
That is playing tricks on me.
Because
it's a dog that looks like a bunny carrying
Now you
a
want to know
bunny?
why those cottontails are disappearing?
There you go.
It's a photoshopped, I think.
And here's Joe and Emma also. I guess that's Joe.
Where's Emma?
Oh, no, that's, well.
Who's that?
And there's Emma.
There's Emma.
There's Emma.
Happy Easter. And here's Sean McGinnis's family also.
Sean.
Happy Easter to you as well. Keep sending in your photos. We'll throw them up on the website and try to show them at the end of the show here.
All right. Okay, we've been talking about the Shroud of Turin. Take it away, Clayton.
Yeah, I mean, I love the history of this because there's been so many tests and back and forth on the legitimacy of the Shroud of Turin, of course. It's long believed, perhaps, that this could be the burial garment of Jesus. The impression there, of course. And these are some of these like infrared photos that they've done to see the imagery of the face.
Awe-inspiring.
There are burn marks on this. It has... And there are red stains on it as well, and they believe maybe blood. It had been believed for a couple of years that this thing was a fake. That well, I was going to say in the 13th and 14th century in the medieval times that it was somehow faked at that time, but new evidence has emerged that that may not be the case. It may be real after all.
Well, what happened is when it was burned, they took sampling from the bottom of this 14-foot long shroud, and they sampled it, and they said, no, the linens in this are not accurate of ancient times, and so, or you know, they couldn't track it back to that time period. Turns out that was the replaced part of the linen.
Where they stitched in the new part of the
right.
And then these are the kind of things. Easter is not about peeps, people. Okay, this is the real meaning of Easter. It gets you grounded. It gets you back to realize what this is all about. It's about Jesus Christ and sacrificing for our sins.
You know, it's interesting, too. There is a replica of this at a nunnery in New Jersey, and they took that replica and they laid it on top of the original shroud, or what they're saying was the original. And there was some blood that seeped into the new replica. And they tested that blood, and they said it was the same blood from that original shroud that was, you know, hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago. Isn't that?
That is
That's
incredible.
kind of like one of those things where, okay, this might actually be. And if you look at hemoglobin, it's in the shape of a cross too, which I think
under
is
the microscope.
That is nice.
I mean, the new story is that they may have, as a result of this new DNA testing, been able to find carbon dating that this actually is before 13th and 14th century. So. Right around ancient times. So, well, there's going to be a special, and now it's open for the first time, so we'll learn more about that.
Right, and it's in bulletproof glass, so don't try anything. None of you scavenger hunters.
Right.
Okay? Don't try to take
With all the Pawn Star shows out there, you never know. I think if you show up with that, this is the Shroud of Turin.
Yeah.
Let's check in with Rick Reichmuth now, because I think you saw a shot of there a second ago. We were asking people to send in their photos this morning, Rick, and I think we saw a shot of your family there.
Check this out.
On Easter. Is this on Easter?
No, this was yesterday, but my dad, who is 76 years old, hiked down the Grand Canyon on Friday, and they're hiking out today. So that's what they're doing for Easter. That's also my sister and her husband and my niece, Holly. So family time down there. But
How long of a hike is that? What did you say?
It's 11 miles down.
So they're hanging out at the Grand Canyon, and you're stuck here in New York.
I was going to try to go, but I could not get off work to get out there.
You're in the Cement Canyon here in New York City.
I know. Not nearly as nice as a Grand Canyon. It's one of my favorite places on earth, and that hike is spectacular. So I'm very, very happy my 76-year-old dad got down there another time. With that said, let's take a look at the weather maps. Across the Northeast, we've got sunny skies for the most part starting the day, but we will see showers move through the afternoon. So plan your Easter egg hunt accordingly. I think probably kind of mid-afternoon we'll see the showers roll on through, and by around dinner time heading in across parts of New England. Mid-Atlantic seeing some of the showers as well today, and down to the southeast we'll see some thunderstorms firing across parts of Texas and Louisiana, a little bit of Mississippi as well. Some of those could be severe, mostly some strong winds and some hail, but temperature-wise, things looking really quite nice. Into the northern plains, we have another batch of cold air coming in, unfortunately. Today, not as bad, but tomorrow temps will drop another 10 to 15 degrees, so we're continuing to see that cold air. And out across the west, things for the most part very nice. There's a new system pulling on shore into California, bringing rain and snow across central California. But aside from that, we'll see mostly sunny skies. All right, back to you inside.
All right, thank you so much, Rick.
All right, we're back with executive chef Billy Oliva, who's showing us some great last-minute Easter dinner ideas.
Hello, Billy. Good to see you again.
Great to be here again. So here we have our Smithfield spiral cut ham. You know, great, simple. Bake it, glaze it, eat it. Very, very simple. Great hams.
Very simple.
Yeah, Easter
staple. Right.
Glaze it.
Bake it, glaze it, and eat it, and done.
You know?
I like that.
Okay.
And then we have our swordfish loin here with our blood orange herb marinade. And you go ahead and squeeze that.
Take it away.
And
You told us to do this.
And then, yes.
Can I do something? I feel left out here.
We have the Tabasco there.
Okay.
You know what? Tabasco adds a great flavor, not just heat. So we're going to cover it with the Tabasco.
Now, what if you don't like a lot of spice? Should we leave
just
that
do
out?
a little bit of Tabasco.
Okay, I'm just doing a little bit.
And then we're going to brush it with our herb mixture. And all this.
How many of these?
Yeah, you could go ahead and give it another one.
Okay.
All these herbs here, we have green onion, basil, spring garlic. This is all in our marinade that's here, all the ingredients on the table. So now what you would do with this.
Smells wonderful.
Yeah, we have this. We would marinate this overnight. We would roast it for about 10 to 12 minutes a pound at about 350, 400 degrees. When you get done, that's it. We've sliced it, ready to go.
And we can eat this, right?
You can eat that.
Okay,
That's
good.
ready to go.
All right, good.
And with that, we have the Martin Kodak Salvarinho.
Yep.
It's known as the wine of the sea. Goes great with any type of seafood. So we're serving that with the swordfish today.
Okay.
And we have our ham that's sliced and a little bit of artichoke casserole.
Yeah, tell me about the artichoke casserole here. This looks delicious.
So our artichoke casserole, we have our purple artichokes. We've cooked those. We've mixed them with capers, Parmesan cheese, Crucolo cheese, breadcrumbs, olive oil, garlic. Then rebake them again in the oven. Get the breadcrumbs on top, which is mixed with the cheese, nice and crispy. Again, real simple, done ahead.
How do you cook an artichoke? Do you boil it? Or
We
do you
kind
put
of
it in the
braise
oven?
them. We kind of braise them.
Really?
So we don't
For
boil.
someone that doesn't know what braising means, what is braising?
It's cooked in a liquid with onions.
It means
carrots.
ask Jesse's wife to help. It means hire you for the Easter dinner.
It's not as hard as it sounds.
And then what do you have for
finally
dessert?
we have our rice pudding cake.
Delicious.
That looks healthy.
And yeah, a little bit, a little bit. And so it's got arborio rice in it, sugar, lemon, all kinds of great stuff. When we did this in Delmonico's, I was a little bit hesitant about a rice pudding cake.
Right.
Until we did it and we actually tried it. So why don't one of you guys go ahead and cut into that?
All right, well, do you want me to just stab into it?
Or
with
you
a
could
fork?
stab
Do you
into it,
mind
that works.
Because I don't know if
Not
I
at
want to.
I'll help you. May I help him? Are we going to ruin this? I'm
No,
sorry.
that's okay.
Okay, so for all these recipes, you see them up on your screen, but you can also go to our website.
That's better
foxnews.com.
than the Peeps, just by a little bit, I think. All right.
That's delicious.
And Delmonico's in Southampton's opening in May, too, correct?
Correct. Yeah, really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be an exciting summer.
Rice and pudding and dessert, you wouldn't think those would go together, but that's delicious.
Yeah, and when
It's
you
good.
when you get into the center of the cake, it's nice and creamy. And
Should I have stabbed from the
You
center?
can stab into the center.
Can I go in the center?
Absolutely.
We're going to do that during the commercial break. Thanks so much, Billy, for
Thank
being
you
here.
very much, Billy. Appreciate
Happy
it.
Easter to you and
You
your
too.
family. And coming up next on The Rundown, how did this happen? The IRS knowingly sending illegal immigrants billions of dollars a year in tax returns. Have you gotten yours yet? Well, the illegal immigrants are. They're getting theirs.
Plus, talking taxes. Well, if you're a homeowner, you can save big bucks this year. We'll tell you what you can before time runs out.
How do you make America's favorite recipes? Just begin with America's favorite soups. Bring out chicken broccoli Alfredo or best ever meatloaf. Go to campbellskitchen.com for recipes, plus a valuable coupon. Campbell's, it's amazing what soup can do.
My company set me up at Sleep Inn. Hey, boss, thank you so much for this room. This free breakfast? Wow. Ooh, bacon.
Stay at Sleep Inn or any of these Choice Hotels and save up to 20% when you book direct at choicehotels.com.
Anna, looking good. What's your secret?
Weight Watchers Online. Never thought I'd dig Weight Watchers. Never thought I'd love the app. But I tried the groovy online plan, and now my arms don't jiggle when I clap, and I go sleepless. No shame at bingo, sleepless when I'm hailing a cab. Sleepless! I rock the scanner. Weight Watchers Online ain't no fad.
Join for free and check out our risk-free guarantee. What's it take to make America run? Lots of hard-working Americans creating the fuels for nearly 250 million vehicles at the world's most advanced refineries. About 170,000 miles of secure pipelines many of us never see. It's the world's largest energy infrastructure. Billions of investments in America, safely providing the fuels we need to power businesses, heat our homes, and keep America on the move. Log on to learn more.
What can I get you?
I'd like one of those desserts and some coffee.
Sure, decaf or regular?
Regular.
Cake or pie?
Pie.
Apple or cherry?
Cherry.
Oil or cream? Oil or cream?
Cream.
With Ready Whip, a slice of pie never sounded better. That's because it's always made with real cream, never hydrogenated oil like some other whip toppings. The sound of Ready Whip is the sound of joy.
I had enough of feeling embarrassed about my skin.
Enough of just covering up my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis.
I decided enough is enough.
I started Enbrel. It's clinically proven to provide clearer skin.
Enbrel may not work for everyone and may not clear you completely, but for many it gets skin clear fast, within 2 months, and keeps it clear through 6 months.
Enbrel may lower your ability to fight infections, serious, sometimes fatal events, including infections, tuberculosis, lymphoma, other cancers, nervous system and blood disorders, and allergic reactions have occurred. Before starting Enbrel, your doctor should test you for tuberculosis and discuss whether you've been to a region where certain fungal infections are common. You should not start Enbrel if you have an infection like the flu. Tell your doctor if you're prone to infections, have cuts or sores, have had hepatitis B, have been treated for heart failure, or if you have symptoms such as persistent fever, bruising, bleeding, or paleness.
If you've had enough, ask your dermatologist about Enbrel.
Welcome back. A major waste watch. The IRS knowingly sending illegal immigrants $4.2 billion per year in fraudulent tax refunds. Illegal immigrants are given a number to encourage them to pay taxes. Instead, they're listing their kids, nieces, and nephews and getting up to $1,000 for each one, even though most don't live in America. The government has to know about it for years and hasn't closed the loophole. Well, fans thought they'd been invited to sing a Justin Timberlake song for a new Target ad. They didn't know, though, that they'd be singing it with him.
It's a space I know you hold.
Yeah!
Show me how Show me how to fight for now. Oh my God! Show me how to fight for now. And I'll tell you, baby, it was easy coming back into you once I figured it out.
Target just now releasing the outtakes from the commercial.
Oh my God.
And this guy almost passes out.
Hi, how are you?
She almost passes out too. It's already going viral. Smart marketing on the part of Target, huh, Ainsley?
I love this. You can't get enough of it. Thank you, Clayton. Well, owning a house is the American dream, right? And the tax benefits that come along with it are a very welcome relief to many families living in our country. But with tax season in full force and changes to benefits taking place, what do you need to know if you own a house or you're about to buy a house? Our next guest is going to answer 3 of the most common questions from homeowners. Shari Olson is the real estate attorney that we like to have on our show and author of this book, Financial Fresh Start, and she joins us now. Good morning, Shari.
Good morning, Ainsley.
Good to see you. Let's talk about some of these tax breaks, and I want to go through some of the questions. But with government cutbacks, we have these tax breaks now. What could we see changing in the future?
Well, we know, here's the thing, that with the fiscal cliff and sequester, balancing the budget and cutting that national deficit are top priorities. And so the flip side of all these great benefits that we all get are that's revenue that's not going to the government. And so one of the things we've seen for homeowners recently, for example, we had the Mortgage Debt Forgiveness Relief Act, which said that if you short sell your property, the amount of debt that the bank forgives, you don't have to pay income tax on. You used to have to pay income tax on that. Well, that expires at the end of this year, in large part because it was costing the government over $1 billion in taxes that they were not collecting. So that's one example. But the good news is we know these changes are coming, and so we can keep our eyes and ears open and be prepared.
Okay, that you just answered one of our questions from homeowners out there. Shari, the other question we're getting, I think homeownership is very important, but is now a good time to talk about these changes? Isn't the housing market still recovering?
That's a great question, Ainsley. And here's the thing. The good news is that we've seen solid months over months of home price increases. The not so good news is we know that about a quarter of those sales are driven by investors, and we still have about 2 million homes in foreclosure, about 6 million in default, and about 10 million people who owe more than their home is worth. So now there's never a good time to take back benefits that people have relied on, but certainly you can argue that now is not the time to be hitting homeowners again with more financial issues.
Right. It wasn't that long ago when they were hit, and a lot of people went into even deeper debt. So it's going to take a lot longer than this to recover. All right, question number 3. What are they talking about doing to the mortgage interest deduction? We've heard a lot about this lately. I'm still so far underwater, like we were just talking about. I'm not sure it would even make sense for me to own my own home without that. Great question.
Yep. That's a great question. And you know what, Ainsley, I hear that most often from younger borrowers because their loans are still new. And so the biggest portion of their payment is still going towards interest. And they happen to be one of the biggest beneficiaries of the mortgage interest deduction, which we know allows you to write off the interest that you pay on your home loan and a second home loan up to $1 million as long as you use that money to buy, build, or improve your home. And by some counts, average families are saving about $12,000 a year on that. Now, some of the proposals include potentially either eliminating the deduction altogether, eliminating it for second homes, reducing that $1 million cap to $500,000. We're just not exactly sure what it's going to be, but the best way that folks can stay informed is at irs.gov. We should just get our information right from the horse's mouth.
Good deal. Thank you so much, Shari. Happy Easter to you. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. Coming up next, Father Jonathan. He's here with his message to the faithful this Easter Sunday. Hey, Father. There he is, walking down the hallway. Come on in.
No matter what, people can count on me to get the job done. So when my prostate cancer returned, my doctor told me that this time can be different. With Provenge, a personalized treatment that lets me count on my own body to fight back.
Provenge is clinically proven to help extend life in certain men with advanced prostate cancer by taking your own blood cells and reprogramming them to jumpstart your immune system so it can attack your prostate cancer. Provenge can cause serious reactions, including those resulting from the infusion and stroke. Severe but infrequent infusion reactions include chills, fever, fatigue, weakness, breathing difficulties like shortness of breath, decreased oxygen and wheezing, dizziness, headache, high blood pressure, muscle ache, nausea, and vomiting. Tell your doctor about all of your medical problems, including heart problems, lung problems, or history of stroke. Call 1-800-861-8141 for more information. Talk to your doctor and find out if the time is right for Provenge. Provenge, helping you help yourself.
Giving up everything for God.
Hello? Hello?
Hey, the boards are going this way. There's no way. Oh, the lights came on.
Isn't technology supposed to make life easier? At Chase, we're pioneering innovations that make banking simple. Deposit a check with a photo, pay someone with an email, and bank seamlessly with our award-winning mobile app. Take a step forward and chase what matters.
I've had success on a smash hit television show, theater, and on the big screen. But I'm most proud of the success that I've had in giving sound financial advice for over 50 years. Hi, I'm Wayne Rogers. And I'm here today to help seniors understand how a government-insured reverse mortgage can help them gain financial independence. If you're a homeowner, 62 or older, you may be eligible to convert your equity into tax-free cash without ever having to make a monthly mortgage payment. This free DVD from my friends at Senior Home Loans will tell you all about the reverse mortgage experience. It'll give you a step-by-step plan that includes qualification, the government's insurance coverage, and your responsibilities after you get a reverse mortgage. This free DVD will help separate the myths from the facts. Call this toll-free number right now for your free reverse mortgage DVD. You know, I can give you great advice, but it's up to you to take the next step. Call now.
Don't outspend your neighbors, outsmart them in a new Hyundai Genesis. Rated one of the best luxury cars by KBB.com, with more horsepower than any of its luxury competitors. And Genesis is a top safety pick, yet Genesis costs thousands less. The new 2013 Genesis, on sale this week, only $399 a month. Or just sign and drive. 0 down, 0 first payment, 0 security deposit. Hyundai Genesis, the intelligent choice, with the best luxury car warranty in America.
800-472-3332 for your free information kit and a free $50 savings card. Call now.
Well, on this Easter Sunday, the highest holy day for Christians, we want to bring you an Easter message.
Joining us now is Fox News religion contributor, Father Jonathan Morris.
Good morning.
Happy Easter.
Father. You guys know that the price of anything, right, the value of anything, the value is determined by the price that someone is willing to pay for it. And as Christians, we believe that God paid the ultimate price. That is death on a cross for our own salvation and redemption. I think that's the Christmas message. And I must tell you that I didn't make that up. Someone on my Facebook actually wrote that to me beautifully. I asked, what, in 20 words or less, what is the message of Easter? But that's it, that we believe we can begin again. That even though we've all messed up in our own personal lives and as humanity, and we look at the world and we see the state the world is in, people fighting, North Korea now saying that they're in war with South Korea, what's going on in Syria, what's going on in so many parts of the world, people being persecuted also for their faith. We believe that there is a solution to every single problem that we get into. Sometimes it's a painful solution, but it's a solution that has already been paid for by the ultimate price of God giving up his only son for us, that we might have life eternal.
Yeah, Good Friday, all I could think about was God giving his son up. And Mary, you know, we always see in the movies or when we watch the Bible, you see her at the cross, the foot of the cross, watching her son go through this. I'm not even a mother. I couldn't imagine my dog going through that, much less my child and God.
You know, I remember as a child thinking to myself, but why did Jesus have to die? Like, how does that fix things, right? Why? And then later on, maybe in 7th or 8th grade, I remember being told there are different degrees of sin, right? And one is like if you punch your brother, like we were just punching each other the other day, or earlier today.
Right. That really hurt, Father.
But if you punch your sister, well, now that is the worst, right? Well, in our relationship with the ultimate innocent, that is God himself, ultimate goodness, when we offend him and misuse our freedom, well, that's the ultimate price has to be paid. It's something that we can't do ourselves. And so Jesus has offered himself for us, saying, I'll take your place. I know you can never pay for this on your own. There's no way that you could do that, but I will die in your place and offer you eternal life. I think it's a message for all of us, Christian or not, to begin again and to say, no matter what situation I find myself in today, there's always a good solution. And that has to do with repentance and starting over and giving up on the vengeance that we might feel towards another person because they've sinned against us, and saying, I'm also going to be God-like, to be Christ-like, and I'm going to live that great message of love that he's given to us.
Thank you. So today's a fresh start for all of us.
And Easter eggs and peeps and all those other, having a good time with family.
Can you have a peep, Father? Is that good?
And watching my Michigan Wolverines in the Elite 8 at 2:30 today. But anyway.
All right, Fox and Friends, more with us in 2 minutes.
This is the real message of Easter.
Look what Mommy's having. Mommy's having a French fry. Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Could have had a V8. 100% vegetable juice with 3 of your daily vegetable servings in every little bottle.
You said, I don't really like taking my vitamins. Nature Made said, here's new Vitamelts in flavors like juicy orange or creamy vanilla. Tasty, smooth melting vitamin supplements. New Nature Made Vitamelts, made to higher standards. Yours. Get a coupon on our Facebook page.
It's got performance with efficiency. It's got all you want in a car as alive as you are. Introducing the supercharged V6 and turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that gets 30 miles per gallon highway from Jaguar. At last, you can roar responsibly. Jaguar. Right now, drive something extraordinary at your local Jaguar retailer.
Shoot. Now with the Share Everything plan from Verizon, connect your camera, along with your smartphone and tablet. All your devices connected by one simple plan on the powerful network. Record video. Connect more, so you can do more. The Share Everything plan from Verizon. Add additional devices like the Samsung Galaxy camera for $5 monthly access.
I'm Lorenzo. I work for 47 different companies. Well, technically, I work for one. That company, the United States Postal Service, works for thousands of home businesses. Because at USPS.com, you can pay, print, and have your packages picked up for free. I can even drop off free boxes. I wear a lot of hats. Well, technically, I wear one. The U.S. Postal Service. No business too small.
Hey, can I help you? Wow, this tractor looks tough. Oh, yeah. This is the Coyote RX 6010. It has a 59 horsepower Daedong turbo engine, 4-wheel drive, and one of the highest lift capacities in its class. It's a whole new level of toughness.
Wow, that is tough. I'll take it. Bubby, let's go wrestle a bear.
Experience the toughness of the RX series at your local Coyote dealer.
We got flooring for this room free. The office free. The rec room free.
It's Empire Today's whole house sale. Buy flooring with installation for 2 rooms and get flooring for the rest of your rooms free. Schedule now at EmpireToday.com or call
Empire Today. Butter just got better. So try Smart Balance's newest butter and canola oil blend. Real butter with a naturally sourced ingredient that helps block the cholesterol in the butter. And try Smart Balance blended butter sticks for baking.
All right, log on to foxandfriends.com for the After the Show show. Here is a picture of my son Miles and my daughter Ava, who's 11 months old on this Easter morning. I just got this sent to me.
Aww, that is adorable.
You have the cutest kids ever.
Right.
You really do.
Yeah, what happened?
It pains me to admit, but they are.
Happy Easter to you.
Happy
and
Easter,
your family.
everybody.
Pope Francis celebrating his first Easter Mass as pontiff this morning. He did so in front of a massive crowd at St. Peter's Square. Hundreds of thousands of pilgrims, tourists, and Romans turning out on this very special day. Believers also packing Bethlehem's Church of the Nativity, the site traditionally considered to be located over the cave that marks the birthplace of Jesus. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to America's News Headquarters on this Easter Sunday morning. I'm Eric Shawn.
Jamie Colby's off. I'm Marthel Neville. Happy Easter's. Easter celebrations taking place across the Holy Land, including the city where Christians believe Jesus was resurrected. Connor Powell is live in Jerusalem. Connor?
Arthel, Pope Francis used his first Easter to call for world peace, specifically highlighting and praying for peace on the Korean Peninsula, urging both sides to renew a spirit of reconciliation there. It's estimated some 250,000 people were on hand in St. Peter's Square in Rome today to hear Pope Francis speak. Since being elected to Pope just 3 weeks ago, Francis has placed a special emphasis on helping the poor and those in need, breaking with Catholic tradition on Thursday by washing the feet of both men and women during the Holy Thursday service. He also prayed for those suffering in Syria and here in the Holy Land. Meanwhile, Protestants and Catholics celebrated Easter here in Jerusalem with services at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the site where Christians believe Jesus was crucified, buried, and resurrected. In Iraq, Catholics flocked to churches amid very tight security. Several hundred Christians were able to go to church at St. Joseph's Church in Baghdad, a change from the past few years where violence was so high they were not able to go to church. Arthel?
And this morning, there is new U.S. reaction to the escalating threats out of North Korea. The nuclear-armed nation saying it is in a state of war with South Korea and dictator Kim Jong-un, also threatening us. He is, of course, claiming to try and target Hawaii, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., and Austin, Texas. The U.S. flew 2 stealth bombers over that region last week. The move meant to deter North Korea from even considering any real possibility of war. Of course, the rogue nation has nuclear weapons, a huge standing army, and their air force. So what kind of attack could they actually launch against America? And how seriously should we take these threats, if at all? Chuck Nash is a retired U.S. Army captain, Navy captain, and Fox News military analyst. Captain Nash, always good to see you. Good morning.
Nice to be with you, Eric. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you, too. You know, the Pentagon has moved more interceptors for missiles to Alaska. Just how credible should we take this continuing bluster from North Korea?
Well, there's an old saying, if someone threatens to kill you, you should take them seriously. So there's going to be increased vigilance on our part. The North Koreans, North Korea is truly a rogue state. And by that, I mean they could do anything at any time, either calculated or by mistake. And it would not take much with a nuclear weapon going off at high altitude to put an electromagnetic pulse that would, you know, pound the United States back into the pre-industrial age. It's not that out of the question. It's not about digging big radioactive holes in cities. It's the electromagnetic pulse that would affect so much of the delicate electronics on which our society is totally dependent.
You know, we've heard about that possibility for years from Iran and from other places. I mean, is that really do they have the capability to put some nuclear device yet? The thought is that they don't on a missile.
Well, that's right now, today, personal opinion, I don't think they have it yet. Will they have it in relatively short order? Well, if they keep launching these missiles and doing these tests, sooner or later they're going to figure it out. And the fact that they failed to put a fully functioning device into orbit, they got up that high. So that's good enough. And again, you don't have to be accurate with the type of strike that I'm talking about here. That's why in the long run, this blustering that's going on now has caused a recalculation as to what is really sufficient as far as missile defense goes. And the president has decided that maybe those cuts that the administration put in earlier need to be reversed. So in the long run, this test of will between the two new governments on the Korean Peninsula, both the South and the North are new, and they're testing each other, I think is going to actually yield a longer-term benefit for us in that we'll have more adequate missile defense.
You know, top of missile defense, they say maybe they could hit, obviously, Japan and South Korea. Seoul's only 25 miles from the DMZ. How about Alaska? How about the West Coast? Do they have the capability to reach Los Angeles?
Well, if you launch from North Korea, looking at some of their missiles, yes, you can get out that far, but it's more insidious than that. If you were to take one of their shorter range missiles and a small nuclear warhead, put it on a ship, and then launch it from the ship, that's a totally different problem, and it's much more difficult to interdict.
Do we watch for that stuff?
Yeah, we do. And that is not a new concept either. We've been looking at that threat not only from North Korea but from Iran. And the Russians were actually marketing a system that countries could buy on the open market that would launch out of cargo container ships.
How do you see this playing out? I mean, they have this bluster. They're shutting down this factory that they share with South Korea. I mean, the South Koreans have got to be the most worried. They seem to be the easiest target.
Well, in talking with some folks who have very good business contacts over in South Korea, the South Koreans see this as the North, the new government in the North, testing their newly elected government in the South, and they see it as a matter of routine. And they don't want us to overreact to this. So it's a dance, it's a delicate dance, and the problem with it is when you get people up on a hair trigger and you get them all stood up and lathered up, that's when a mistake could be made that ratchets up so quickly that things really do go over the top and very quickly.
So finally, Chuck, I guess what you're saying is Kim Jong-un is what, that petulant, screaming a child in the corner, and if we just ignore him and let him scream his head off, nothing will happen?
Well, we can't ignore him, and we can't ignore his capability. The two things are capability and intent. He is laying out in, you know, the People's Ministry of Hyperbole and Rash Statements is going full speed over there. So you can't ignore that because that's a signal of intent. We also know, because of the tests that he's conducted, that he has the capability as well. You marry those two, no, you can't ignore that.
All right, and we certainly are not. Chuck Nash, always good to see you. Thanks for joining us on this Easter
Nice to be
Sunday
with
morning.
you, Eric. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, what do we do? In the next hour, we will speak to former United States Ambassador to the United Nations, John Bolton, on these threats and any hopes for a possible diplomacy to try and diffuse what's happening.
A Fox News alert, new details on a Texas district attorney and his wife gunned down last night. DA Mike McClelland and his wife were found dead inside their home. Right now, the Kaufman County Sheriff's Department investigating whether the murder is linked to the killings. One of his assistant DAs, here's a neighbor reacting to that news.
Really shocked and saddened by the news. It was just a shock to all of us. We just couldn't believe it.
Now, just 2 months ago, an assistant DA was assassinated as he walked to the Kaufman County Courthouse. No arrests have been made in his murder. More of this developing story for you coming up in a live report.
Well, Othello, it's been a contentious issue for years now, and a group of 8 senators are now trying to make sweeping immigration reform a reality. And this morning, they appear to have overcome a major hurdle in that effort. But there's still some details that they have to nail down, but they're apparently getting closer. National correspondent Steve Centani live with the latest on immigration from Washington. Good morning, Steve.
Hi, Eric. Yeah, in spite of a breakthrough over the terms of employment for guest workers, Senator Marco Rubio says reports that the legislation is finalized are premature. Rubio's one of the gang of 8 senators trying to hammer out that agreement, and he wrote to Judiciary Committee Chairman Pat Leahy urging that once the bill has been introduced, it should go through a rigorous process of public hearings. He said in his letter to Leahy, "You have said that delay for delay's sake would be a mistake in this matter. I agree, but excessive haste in the pursuit of a lasting solution is perhaps even more dangerous to the goals many of us share." 2 members of the Gang of 8, Chuck Schumer and Jeff Flake, expressed optimism this morning. Listen.
So this is a major, major obstacle that's overcome. Each of us has to look at the language and approve it. As Senator Rubio correctly says, we have said we will not come to final agreement till we look at all of the legislative language, and he's correctly pointing out that that language hasn't been fully drafted.
Well, we're much closer with labor and business agreeing on this guest worker plan. That doesn't mean we've crossed every I or dotted every T. We're closer, certainly.
The White House is also optimistic, a spokesman saying this: the president continues to be encouraged by progress being made by the bipartisan group of senators. We look forward to seeing language once it's introduced and expect legislation to move forward as soon as possible. The agreement assures workers would be paid no less than the median wage for their industry. An immigration reform bill could be introduced within the next few weeks. Eric?
All right, Steve. Looks like there is some progress in Washington on something. Thanks so much.
All right, Eric, and now more on the immigration debate. You just heard from Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer brokering the deal between U.S. Chamber of Commerce head Tom Donahue and AFL-CIO President Richard Trumka, attempting to resolve issues over a low-skilled workers program. Joining me now, Fox News contributor Steve Hayes, senior writer for the Weekly Standard. Good to see you, Steve.
Morning, Arthel.
Good morning. Okay, so I want you to break it down for me. What did they agree on in that Friday night phone call? Why now, Steve, and what does it mean for overall comprehensive immigration reform?
Well, it's interesting. There's a lot we don't know about what they agreed to because they haven't given us all of the details. We've seen some leaks in some of the papers this morning and in reports yesterday, and it looks like they've come to some kind of accommodation on this median wage question that Steve Centani made reference to. I think I agree with Senator Schumer that this is progress. I remember listening to a panel discussion at the American Enterprise Institute, a think tank here in Washington, right after the election, and listening to panelists say that this guest worker program, or accommodating the interests of businesses on the one hand and labor on the other, would be the main obstacle to sort of a comprehensive immigration reform package. And if there is indeed this agreement, and it looks like at least there's the outlines for one, I do think that's a big step towards the eventual passage of this legislation. Now, Marco Rubio and others have said there's a lot of work to be done. I think that's right, too. The language for the rest of the bill isn't yet there, but this is one step that I think, gets people past a big obstacle.
All right. And speaking of Rubio, the GOP, they're saying, wait a minute, let's slow down, guys. And the Dems are saying, no, let's hurry up, get this thing done. So as you know, the bipartisan Gang of 8, as they are called, they're going to officially introduce this bill the week of April 8th. That's after the 2-week recess there in Congress. So once it gets to the desks of the lawmakers, what do you expect to happen, Steve?
Well, I think there will be a much longer process. I mean, I think the statement that Marco Rubio put out yesterday afternoon suggested that he wanted input from the other 92 senators. This is a Gang of 8 that's been working on this from 7 states, as he pointed out, and he wants to have input from the other senators who represent the rest of the country. And to make sure that their voices are heard, he wants a series of hearings. He wants to have this be an open and big and public debate. Democrats, on the other hand, are looking to sort of rush this through, to push this forward I think, before any real opposition can mount or surface again, maybe the better way to put it. So I think we're likely to see at least some hearings on these issues, some deeper exploration of this, some kind of a real debate rather than just pushing through, because Republicans, I don't think, are going to sign up as a conference to a process that just shoves this through quickly to get it behind us.
Could there be backlash to being hasty on this?
Yeah, I think there certainly could be. I mean, this is something that Senator Rubio was saying. You remember when he first came out and was part of the Gang of Eight and talked about the importance of pushing immigration reform with the president having been reelected. You know, one of the things that he emphasized in all of his interviews with Rush Limbaugh, with Sean Hannity, with others, was that this was a process that couldn't be rushed. This was a process that needed to take time. There needed to be some kind of understanding among all parties. You're not going to get consensus from everybody, of course, but at least a good hearing of the various points of view before this is something that's pushed on the American people. I think he's going to insist on that, and I don't think there's any question that he's going to have his fellow Republicans on board with him as he looks to slow this down a little.